The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Newham food bank in Beckton, who supplies sub-distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.
Massive, everywhere we go! Everywhere we go! 1, 2, 3, 4! West Ham are massive, everywhere we go! West Ham are massive, everywhere we go! Everywhere we go! West Ham are massive, everywhere we go! West Ham are massive, everywhere we go!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the West Ham Massive. Thank you for joining us. And please don't forget to like, comment on and share this stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you haven't done so already, hit the bell icon and click all for alerts on new content. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this particular endeavour. Please also be advised that if adult language should offend you, this is not the place for you. If adult language is going to get you bent up out of shape, you are the wrong person in the wrong place at the wrong time, because it could well happen. So exit quietly. But if you're still here, then I guess it doesn't bother you. And we're going to discuss Premier League match day 19 of 38. This will be the halfway mark of the Premier League season, Ben. We go to the Emirates Stadium, where we are going to face second place as things stand at the minute, Arsenal. This will be arguably one of our toughest tests of the season. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely, Rob. Yeah. It's a tough place to go. Always has been, but even more so this year and the last couple of years, where obviously Arteta's turned them into real title challengers, and it's going to be a very, very tough game, mate. So we've got to be bringing our absolute A game to get anything out of it. Yeah, before we get into it, Rob, just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Likewise.
Hope they all had a good one with their families, and hopefully West Ham can give them another belated present tomorrow by getting a few points.
Here's hoping. Yes, and the same goes from me. Merry Christmas to you all, and hope you all had a pleasant time with your respective families. So just keep an eye on the ticker as we go along, ladies and gentlemen. It will intermittently change. It will give you various little snippets of information. Like there, you've got the official, should it be of any interest to you. So focusing on Arsenal as far as this season's been concerned, what have been your thoughts?
Yeah, very, very good, mate. I think they've spent big in the summer, and we all know who their biggest signing was. So they, the way I see it, Rob, they come second last year. They run out of gas, lacked a bit of experience. They've bought heavily in the summer and strengthened. So to be honest, mate, I make them favourites for the title. Before a ball was kicked, I actually thought that they would win it, because
I've said the same.
Looking at the business that they done and City done, and even a bit more so now, being halfway through the season, City. When you listen to the likes of Gary Neville and that, City, the fact that they won the treble was probably never going to be able to reach the highs of last year. So I make Arsenal favourites for the title, because I think they're hungry, they've bought well, and they've got some bloody good players and a good manager. So it's and they are looking good at home. You know what I mean? They've beaten City. They've done Man United in the last minute. They've had quite a lot of last-minute winners, right, Dave?
Yeah.
So to be honest, mate, it's difficult to try and really see a big weakness within their team. So we've got to try and, but we're going to have to find a way. I mean, without kissing their ass too much, we've got some players that they need to worry about.
Definitely.
Maybe not in equal measure, but not, we're not massively behind them in terms of attacking threat.
They've got to be wary of us. I mean, you're right. I mean, look, let's be completely open and honest about it. Player for player, in terms of their squad depth and all the rest of it, they're above us in the table. They're traditionally above us in the table most seasons. I don't like it, but that's a fact.
Yeah.
So, especially on home turf, they're going for the title. With the wind at their backs, should they beat us? Yeah, they should. But you know what?
Yeah.
The team that should win doesn't always.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that we've got players that can, if they don't mind themselves, we've got players that, I mean, you look at the form that Paquetá's in, look at the form that Bowen's in, look at the form that Kudus is in. They're in absolutely sensational form, that front three.
Yeah. I think, no, they really are, Rob. And it's just about, let's be honest, the blueprint of what we need to do, we've done at Spurs and we kind of done against Man United. I'd like to think we can play a little bit better in the first half than those two games, because I think we didn't really click into gear at all. And, especially against Spurs, we was probably a little bit lucky we weren't really, 2-3-0 down. But look, Moyes knows the formula. We just need to cling in there by hook or by crook and make sure with 20 minutes to go, maybe it's still 0-0, or if we've managed to nick a lead, and then just try and get the creative players moving. And if we do, we've got a chance. But it's not a 50-50 game, let's be honest.
I just realised I was on mute. Mikey's alluded to it here. Does it concern you that Moyes' record against the top six, the Sky Sports top six, away from home, it ain't pretty? Does that concern you, or does that not concern you in the slightest?
No, it does concern me, mate. It does concern me. I was, in advance of this show, I was just doing a bit of research, and I looked at what we used to perceive as, say, the old top four before City really come into play. So that's Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Chelsea.
Yep.
And this is going back a year ago. Moyes had played those four away from home 70 times and never won.
Brilliant.
Now that is absolutely damning reading. That tells me, if we do win it, we're going to be winning it. It's going to be a backs against the wall, smash and grab jobby, So I'm not, put it this way, if I had 100 quid in my pocket, I'm not sure I'd be going down Ladbrokes in the morning to put us on it to win the game.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't put your mortgage on it. That's for damn sure.
No. So I think, I want to be hopeful, because look, we're coming off the back of a bit of good form. I mean, look at that, Rob.
Yes,
our form is equally as good as Arsenal's.
Yep. Yeah, exactly the same. It's completely identical.
Yeah, it's completely identical. And we're coming off the back of 2 clean sheets, which I think is really important, because defensively we're going to be under a lot of pressure, and hopefully those defensive players can be coming into it with a bit of confidence.
Before I go on to the next question that I normally trot out, I will also go into a little bit of team news if anybody's interested. As far as we're concerned, Michail Antonio, there's still no sign of him on the horizon. David Moyes has confirmed that this game is coming too soon for the West Ham number 9. And the only other player that is questionable as to whether they're going to be available is the player that David Moyes still, even now over a year later, still continues to call Nathan Agard. but everybody else knows him as Naya Fagere because that's his fucking name, David. You know, I mean, you've had the guy for a year. I think it's a little bit rude to keep calling him Nathan Agard, but that's just me. Obviously, he's still. Is he going to play? Isn't he going to play? Or is he only going to be available from the bench? We'll find out an hour before kickoff tomorrow.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's pretty much a clean bill of health as far as we're concerned. Arsenal, not so much. And this is where they're going to need to rely upon their squad, because amongst the absentees tomorrow for injury will be Jurien Timber, Fabio Vieira, Thomas Partey, and Takahiro Tomiyasu for a multitude of reasons. And a player who, I got to be honest, I was never quite sure of him at Chelsea, but I have to say, since he's gone to Arsenal, I've started to look at him and go, there is a player there. Definitely there's a player there, but he ain't going to be playing tomorrow due to suspension, and that's Kai Havertz. What do you make of the team news there, Ben?
Just looking at us, Rob, I think, Antonio should be back soon, because I know when he got the injury, they said about a month, and it was the end of November. So it'd be good to get him back in the squad. Whether he gets it back straight in the first team or not remains to be seen. He probably shouldn't from an attacking point of view, but I think that would be a big asset to get off the bench. If a Gerd's fit, I'd be inclined to say you don't change it from the Man United team regardless, because I think Mavropanos had a good game and wouldn't deserve to be dropped. Who knows? He might bring a Gerd in as well, you know. But I think from Arsenal's point of view, the players that you reeled off, even though they've got sort of 4 or 5 out injured, the players that you reeled off injured, Rob, they're probably not nailed on starting 11 players anyway.
Possibly not.
Timber's not played a game this season, and they've got a good defence. I agree. Havertz took a while, but seems like he's finding his feet. So that is a little positive for us, because I think he probably would play Havertz if he was fit and not suspended. Sorry. So yeah, I think they've still got a really strong 11 to put out, but I'd say we've got a pretty strong 11 to put out as well.
I'd be in agreement with that statement. Who is the key player for the opposition that isn't Declan Rice? and if you want go for a player aside from Declan Rice, and if you want to wax lyrical about our former captain, you're more than welcome to do so. That will probably be the point when everybody turns off, but carry on.
Do you know what? They've got a lot of key players. Actually, when you try and just filter it down, I'm actually going to go for one of Rice's midfield partners and say Martin Odegaard.
Okay.
I think he's probably been a bit quieter this season or recently than previous seasons. But I actually think when this lad is in the groove, there's probably not a better creative midfielder in the league. I think he's absolutely golden. I've seen him against us at the London Stadium a few times where he's just dominated the game. So I think he's got a little bit of everything, very intelligent, very creative.
Yeah.
But, he's good from a creative sense. But then you just look at the back, Gabriel and Saliba, they just look a very strong and quick centre-half pairing that we're going to have to think clever tomorrow, because Bowen's not going to win much in the air against these two, and he's probably not going to strip them for pace either. So, however, if we're going to try and score a goal, it's going to have to be quite intelligent play in terms to try and nick one,
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree with that statement. Did you want to sort of wax lyrical about Declan Rice now? I mean, I said it. I mean, when he went there, I make no bones about it. For me, I don't. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying people that have a little bit of an axe to grind against Declan Rice are wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Personally, I don't see a particular problem. We got a good price for a youth team player who gave us 6 years of great service. His last act as captain as he walked out the door was to lift the European trophy, our first trophy in 43 years. We got a good price for him. We've strengthened. We've kicked on again from where we were when he walked out the door in as far as the league's concerned. And he's playing Champions League football. So I think it's a deal that I don't think there was any losers far as I'm concerned. So I'm perfectly comfortable with Declan moving on. I was perfectly fine with it. I can understand people having a slightly different viewpoint, but that's just me. But yeah, I think good luck to the fella. I wish him no luck tomorrow. I wish him no luck when we cross paths. Other than that, no problem.
Yeah, quite similar, Rob. I think he gives great service. He's the best player I've ever seen in a West Ham shirt. Live, I think he's a fantastic player. I think people are now seeing what we all thought. But now people are thinking, David Moyes come out in the conference the other day saying, well, we're having a good season considering we've lost England's best player, which I don't think many people can argue that if you park Bellingham aside because he's in Spain, if you're thinking about an England player this season, Rice is the best. Rice is playing the best football out of any England player in the country. And every week I go into work with all the Arsenal fans and they're like, he's our best player again. Every week he's their best player, it would seem. So, look, I think, but I still, no matter where he went in England, it's going to be a bit of pill when you play him. It's added a little bit more spice into this game for me, personally, because, I want one of our players to clatter into him and fucking give him a good kick in. And when he's on the floor, fucking whisper in his ear, see you cunt, you should never have left. You get what I'm saying? And just tread on his hand a little bit, just fucking hurt the cunt. And to be honest, mate, I know this is a bit cruel of me. And I apologise, but I want him to win nothing in his whole career at Arsenal. And I want him to, in 5 years' time, if we've improved, I want him to be begging to come back. It's not going to happen, but, that's... I sometimes lie in bed at night and think, I'd love it if that fucking happened.
You're a cruel and vindictive man.
But look, you can only say, hand on heart, so far, from a purely professional basis, his move has been vindicated. He's playing in the Champions League every week. He's playing in a team that is challenging for the title. So, if you're a professional footballer, that's where you want to be. And unfortunately, we're not at that level at the moment. And we may never be there, unfortunately. But we live in hope.
Yeah. It's the hope that kills you sometimes. But anyway, moving on. Fuck those Arsenal cunts. Let's talk about our own our troops. Come on. Who's the West Ham player that's going to be key to a positive result? I've probably named 3 of them earlier. Is it going to be one of those 3, or is there someone else?
No, it's not, mate. I'm going to say the goalie.
Which one's that going to be?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Alphonse Areola. And, mate, if we could have 2 goalies, I'd have Fab and Areola playing. But, no, I think
against the rule.
I think this is going to be one of them games that, I think we all know we're going to be under the cosh for a lot of this game. And I think if we're to get anything, the goalie's going to have to have a great game. So and Alphonse, he's got it in him. We're off the back of 2 clean sheets. Defensively, Zoom. Everyone had a good game yesterday. And look, from 1 to 11, we are going to have to perform minimum 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 across the pitch. So I think, it'd be, I can sit here and say Paqueta and Bowen and Kudus, and I'll probably do most weeks, as do you, because They are our star boys. But I think I'm going to go a bit different today and say Areola needs to be our star man to get anything tomorrow.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm going to go slightly differently. I think we need another big game from a guy that had a big game against Man United, and that's our captain, Kurt Zouma. I think he, not just in terms of what his defensive attributes, but in terms of his captaincy. You're the guy with the armband. You need to be the standard bearer, like Declan was previously. And Mark Noble was previous to him, and so on and so forth. You are the standard bearer. You are the manager's representation. You're our representation on the pitch. And we need you to be fucking organising the troops around you and geeing them up and really sort of galvanising the players around you into sort of giving the 8 out of 10 minimum performances that we need out of the players. Because, as you say, if we don't manage to sort of like bring that sort of level of performance out individually, collectively, we ain't got a fucking prayer.
Yeah, and I think what's going to be important, Rob, just not an individual, but a philosophy tomorrow is we've got to try and when we get the ball, let's fucking keep it. Do you know what I mean? Let's just build it slowly. Try and build through midfield so that we're not just giving the ball back to them, because the quicker we give it back to them, it could turn into a siege. And then it's just a matter of time before there's a chink in the armour and then the fucking floodgates open. So we've got to keep the ball through midfield, try and get Paqueta on the ball as much as we can, because not only being our creative spark, I think what you find is Paqueta, he'll try and hold the ball, invite players onto him, and then maybe win a free kick or pass it on. Do you know what I mean? So he's good at that. So I would like to try and see Paqueta in the middle a little bit more. I don't think Moyes will play him central, but I think maybe from the left position, but just further into the pitch.
Okay. Put you in the dugout, Ben, and you guys in the live chat get stuck into this as well. Really want to sort of get your involvement with this. And if you're watching this after the fact, you've got the comment section below, get stuck in as well. What would be your starting 11? If you was David Moyes, not what you think David Moyes will necessarily go with tomorrow.
To be honest, mate, I think they're actually one and the same thing.
Okay.
I think the 11 that I'd pick is most likely the 11 that are going to start, and it's we're off the back of a good win against Man United. I'd play the same team, and that would be Areola in goal, Kufal right, Mavropanos and Zouma in the middle, and Emerson on the left. Do you know what I noticed as well is Zouma went out to the left side centre back, and Mavropanos was right, which is probably different to what usually happens. Do you know what, mate? I've never think that really matters. I just think if you're a centre half, you're a fucking centre half, and whether you're there or there, you'll make it work. And it goes to, I know it's only one game, but we didn't concede a goal, so I think that's minor. I think I'm going to go for Alvarez, Souček, Ward-Prowse in the middle of the park, and I think that's a little bit interchangeable. I think I noticed the last few games, I think it looks like Ward-Prowse is more forward than the others. So I think Souček and him can chop and change, whereas Alvarez is always the deepest. And then I would go for, this is where I'd tweak it ever so slightly.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say Paqueta and Kudus, but they're not really out wide. I'm going to say that they're sort of inside forwards, I think would be the old term.
Yep.
And then Bowen up front, because I think that's what happened I think Bowen actually mentioned it in his interview. He said that Moyes told him to come in more, and I think as a result they were just you can find that Paqueta and Kudus can find space maybe more in between players, and I think that's where we could do a bit of damage. It's going to mean it's going to be quite narrow, and Emerson and Kufal, they're the ones that might have to give us a bit of width. But that's the team I'd go for, Rob. And I think from an attacking sense, we can cause them problems.
Do you know what? I'm almost in agreement with you, because I would be very tempted to make one change, but it all hinges on the fitness of Naya Figueira. Because you know what I would do? I would put at right back, I would put Dinos Mavropanos.
Ah, interesting.
I'd rest, drop, whatever you want to call it, Vladimir Kufal. Because I've not been terribly impressed with him of late from a defensive point of view. Yeah. Offensively, yeah, no problem. But I think that we're probably going to need slightly more defensive attributes. I wouldn't be averse that if Aguirre is fit, I would personally like to see Mavropanos deployed as a right back, which he can.
With you. I'm with you, Rob. And I think, listen, that gives you a lot of strength and height at corner kicks. Let's be honest, you know, with Mavropanos, Zuma, and Aguirre in there, you've got 3 towering targets plus Souček.
Yeah.
If Ward-Prowse is getting it, you know, and I think you're looking at the likes of Man City and some of the top teams. They're playing with, you know, in some cases, 4 centre halves across the fucking back line. So I think I wouldn't be averse to that because like I say, it probably won't happen. But I think I agree with you. Kufal, from a defensive point of view, hasn't been great. You know, he lets players run at him for 20, 30 yards, and then you know, all of a sudden they're in the penalty box. But I think that could be a good lineup as well.
What's your score prediction? Again, guys in the live chat, get stuck into this as well.
Oh.
What? All right, I'll tell you, I'll let you give 2 score predictions. I'll let you go heart, and I'll let you go head.
Right, in my heart, I'm hopeful we could.
He has Cyclops.
Yeah, I don't know. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I think we can do them 2-0. No, I think we could keep another clean sheet.
That's your heart, though, right?
That's my heart. My heart is full of turkey and ham and fucking
alcohol.
Mince pies.
It's definitely full of alcohol after the Man United game. You don't even fucking remember it, do you? That's another story.
Yeah. No, man. My heart and my head are aligned here. We're going to do them 2-0.
My heart will never, ever, ever say that we're going to get beat. My heart never will. My head sometimes says something different. So my heart says we are going to battle and we are going to find our way to a 0-0 draw. We'll get a point.
I'll bite your hand off with that.
Mate, that is, going to the Emirates, an Arsenal team that are gunning for the title, get a clean sheet, get a point. Yeah, I'd take that all fucking day long. Not a problem. My head says something different. My head says we're going to battle. We're going to have to soak up a lot of pressure. But I think we're going to get undone. And I think a big part of that will regrettably be the number 41 in the opposition. And we're going to lose 3-1. It will be a creditable performance. I think it will be a performance that will be dogged, will be determined, will be resolute, hard, and a tough nut for Arsenal to crack. But crack we will.
Yeah, I think, I actually think, oddly enough, we played Arsenal on Boxing Day last year.
Yes.
And that me and Dave Jenkins in the chat, our cousin, we watched it in a boozer called the Lord Clyde, near Southwark, near London Bridge. And it was a similar scenario, Rob. I think we battled. I think it was 1-0 for quite a while, and then we was battling. We didn't really have a chance, but it's in the. You think, oh, what if we get one chance, and then they just done us
breakaway.
They just done us on the break again, just to take it 2-0. So I think, look, they've got it in their locker. We do need to, from the minute one, we can't just sit back. No. They're too good. They're too good. They will find a way through us if we just sit back. We've got to go there with a bit of positivity and a bit of the mentality to show what we're about, so that they're worried about us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Before excuse me, before we do knock it on the head, and I let you have your final thoughts, I will just share this with everybody because I think it deserves a little bit of scrutiny. This is the live Premier League table, and at this precise moment in time, Brentford are 4-1 down at home to Wolves. That game is still ongoing, but with a scoreline like that in the 90th plus minute, that game's done. Chelsea beat Crystal Palace 2-1, according to what I'm reading. And 55 minutes in, Everton Man City is currently 1-1. And that is the Premier League table there, ladies and gentlemen. We're in 7th place. If we get a point, we're obviously level with Manchester United on points, but our goal difference will see us back into 6th. They were arsehole lucky yesterday. Well, were they arsehole lucky, or was it sort of like that Villa just switched off? I don't know.
It pains me to say it. I'd have to say I don't think it was luck. I think they come out in the second half and probably deserved it, I would say. I think Villa were just sloppy. They switched off. They thought the game was over, and couple of silly passes into midfield. All of a sudden, it's 2-1, and then it's game on. So it was disappointing that they went above us because all in all, I think United have been so poor this season, and then they're fucking above us again. Rob, we talked about this the other day.
Yes.
So yeah, it's disappointing, but like I say, there's a lot left to go, and hopefully, if we go with my prediction, we'll go well above them tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Any final thoughts before we knock it on the head?
No, mate. Obviously, it's going to be a tough game, but looking forward to it regardless. Yeah, do you know what? I think we can do it. I'd love to see us at least get a goal and give it a good go. So yeah, hopefully that's what we see tomorrow.
Fair enough. Right, guys, thanks for joining us. Please don't forget to like, comment on, and share this stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell icon and click all for alerts on new content. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank you very much indeed for your support in this particular endeavour. And please don't forget to join us for the Arsenal review, which will probably be... Hang on, I'm losing track of days. Today's Wednesday. The match is Thursday. So it's probably going to be Friday, isn't it? I'm guessing sometime. Yeah. So join us for that. And please also don't forget to give your support to the Iron Supporting Food Banks charity. We'll see you next time. Come on, you Irons, and stay safe.
The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Newham Food Bank in Beckton, who supplies sub-distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.
Massive!